Well, after hanging out with the old bomb Dillies for a couple of days, those hobbit folk decided they were going to set out back on the road towards where they was going. Of course, knowing what kind of folk those hobbits are, we know they didn't get too damn far without some sort of friggin' trouble happening. It's pretty hard to believe Frodo's 50 friggin' something years old when he goes around like a 10-year-old getting lost all the time. It's like you can't leave him alone for 2 friggin' minutes. Anyhow, they got going from that house through the woods, and pretty soon they run into a bunch of menacing-looking fog with a bunch of weird black pillars sticking up out of the ground, and for some reason, I guess because they're friggin' hobbits, they said, this looks like a real good friggin' idea. Let's take a shortcut through here. Frodo has this brilliant idea that they're going to use a buddy system so they don't get split up when they can't see each other through that fog, but apparently Frodo was the only one that didn't know what the buddy system was, because he's the first one that got lost. Pretty soon he's freaking out, screaming, going through the phases of death before, something dangerous actually happens, and he gets knocked out by this thing called a friggin' barrel weight or some shit like that. When he comes to, him and the gang are all tied up in this weird cave with a hallway, and they're all paralyzed and passed out, but for some reason Frodo's come to, and he's like, this is some weird shit, let me tell you what. Sees a giant monster hand come crawling down the hall, tries to cut it with a sword, it starts hissing and crawling away. He don't know what's going on. Fortunately, though, before anything worse happens, he remembers the old advice of Tom Bonkadonk, and he starts singing that honky-tonk song by friggin' Trace Atkins, and all of a sudden, big guy himself shows up out of nowhere and fucking gives those monsters a 1-2 punch that they ain't never gonna forget for a good while now. Once again, Bombadil's gotta save the friggin' day, because that's just friggin' what he always does, because he got a bunch of friggin' tourists showing up in the woods don't know how to defend themselves, but, that's what he does, so he does it. Brings their ponies back, shows them how to get the fuck out so he doesn't have to worry about them day and night anymore. Gives them a couple swords, gives them some new clothes, and they're off towards the friggin' new town.